Polyglass, a leader in manufacturing roofing and waterproofing solutions. Tools and equipment needed for a low-slope roof system installation. When installing a Polyglass roof system, use only high-quality tools. The proper tools will make application easier and faster. When installing a Polyglass self-adhered roof system, a few essential tools are required. Roofing hammer, utility knives with both straight blades and hook blades, 80-pound weighted linoleum roller, steel or silicone hand roller, high-quality pair of shears, tape measure, hot air welder, trowel. Always observe OSHA's safe roofing practices and local building safety codes. Safety gloves, eye protection, and harness are required at all times. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low-slope roof self-adhered base sheet installation. Prior to installing a self-adhered modified bitumen system, cut the membrane to manageable lengths and allow the cut sheets to relax. Position the base sheet flat and align it with the leading edge of the roof. Once the sheet is in position, remove the first of the two split release films. You do this by pulling off the release film in a constant forward motion, maintaining a 45-degree angle from the point of contact on the roof deck. Continue pulling off the release film until you reach the end of the working sheet. Follow the same procedure for the second release film. After both release films are removed, position the next self-adhered base sheet by lapping the side lap a minimum of 3 inches. Use the convenient pre-printed lay lines as a guide to maintain straight courses. Always verify measurements for accuracy using a tape measure. Once the succeeding sheet is in position, remove the two split release films as executed on the previous course. Press the membrane down with a firm and even pressure, ensuring not to move or shift the sheet. Using a hand roller, apply even pressure to the side lap, activating the Adiso self-adhered compound. Once the significant area of base sheet is installed, use a minimum 80-pound roller over the rest of the installed base sheet to ensure full adhesion in the field. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low-slope roof self-adhered cap sheet installation. Prior to installing a self-adhered modified bitumen system, cut the membrane to manageable lengths and allow the cut sheets to relax. Position the cap sheet flat and align it with the leading edge of the roof. Once the sheet is in position, remove the first of the two split release films. You do this by pulling off the release film in a constant forward motion, maintaining a 45-degree angle from the point of contact on the roof deck. Continue pulling off the release film until you reach the end of the working sheet. Follow the same procedure for the second release film. After both release films are removed, position the next self-adhered cap sheet over the patented Polyglass Seal-Lap Ultra Selvage Edge. Do not remove the release film covering the Seal-Lap Ultra Selvage Edge at this time. Once the succeeding sheet is in position, remove the top release film as executed on the previous course. Press the membrane down with firm and even pressure, ensuring not to move or shift the sheet. Remove the bottom release film and simultaneously remove the release film of the Seal-Lap Ultra from the preceding course. Using a hand roller, apply even pressure to the side lap, activating the Adiso self-adhered compound. Once a significant area of cap sheet is installed, use a minimum 80-pound roller over the rest of the installed cap sheet to ensure full adhesion in the field. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Fast Lap feature on Polyglass self-adhered cap sheets. Polyglass self-adhered membranes feature a patented granule-free end lap. The Fast Lap feature makes completing end laps quick, clean, and efficient. Align the continuing cap sheet with the end of the preceding installed cap sheet. Allow enough membrane to overlap the entire granule-free Fast Lap. Cut two 45-degree angled, 3-inch corners off the underlying sheet. Do this at all T-joints. A third cut should be made on the top corner of the overlapping sheet. Lightly score the release film of the Fast Lap with your straight-bladed knife. Do this at the center of the sheet where it lines up with the center of the split release films of the continuing sheet. Score a section of release film on the Seal-Lap Ultra just above the Fast Lap as well. Scoring the release film will allow you to remove both the release film and the Fast Lap film together with ease. Remove the top release film and peel off the previously scored Fast Lap and Seal-Lap Ultra release films. Press the sheets together. Remove the bottom release film of the overlapping sheet as previously executed and remove the rest of the Fast Lap release film. Press each sheet into place with firm, even pressure. Roll edges and all lap seams firmly with a hand roller to ensure full adhesion. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low-slope roof self-adhered granule over granule cap sheet installation. When end laps occur at granule over granule conditions, the use of a hot air welder or modified roof adhesive is required to ensure bonding of the seam and a watertight seal. The Polyglass preferred method to seam and end lap in a granule over granule condition is by using a hot air welder. Open flame torches should not be used on self-adhere membranes. When bonding at over granule end lap conditions, align the continuing cap sheet with the end of the preceding installed cap sheet. Allow enough membrane to overlap the preceding installed sheet at least 6 inches over the end of the sheet. Insert a hot air welder with a flat tip nozzle in between the adjoining membranes. Starting at one end of the sheet, insert the nozzle to reach the innermost part of the 6-inch seam, pulling the welder in a slow and steady motion towards the other end while following closely with the hand roller. The hand roller should be aligned with the angle of the nozzle tip. Thoroughly press the heated membranes together with a constant rolling motion over the just heated membrane. Continue this action until you reach the end of the sheet. When bonding granule over granule end lap conditions with modified roof cement, align the continuing cap sheet with the end of the preceding installed cap sheet. Allow enough membrane to overlap the preceding installed sheet at least 6 inches over the end of the sheet. Score an indicator mark on the membrane to determine how far to apply the modified adhesive. Cut two 45-degree angled 3-inch corners off the underlying sheet. Do this at all T-joints. A third cut should be made on the top corner of the overlapping sheet. Remove the split release film of the overlapping sheet and lay the membrane in position, rolling back enough material to allow the application of the 6-inch bed of roof adhesive. Apply a modified roof cement, such as PG500 or PP50, to the length of the lap. The adhesive should be at least 1/8 of an inch thick. Unroll the roof membrane onto the adhesive and using a hand roller, apply pressure to the overlapping cap sheet, pressing the two membranes together. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, self-adhered membrane, 45-degree cuts. When installing a Polyglass self-adhered membrane system, it is recommended that all lap joints are dog-eared, 45-degree angle cut at the seam overlaps on both the base and the cap sheets, as well as wall flashings. Cut the corner off the membrane with either a sharp knife or a dedicated pair of shears. Cutting is easier if done prior to peeling off the release film. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, metal edge detail installation. For low slope drip edge details, install a 6-inch strip of base layer between the deck and the edge material. We recommend that the edge metal does not come into direct contact with the deck or substrate. Begin by installing the base layer, placing it on the deck, and allowing enough extra material to where you can turn it down the face of the deck, but not longer than the face of the metal edge. Once the base layer is set in place, remove the release film and install the product. Remember to use a hand roller to ensure full adhesion to the surface. Next, install metal edge on top of the base layer and nail it at 4 inches on center in a staggered pattern. Before installing the field sheet, it is recommended that all metals should be primed with an ASTM D41 asphalt primer, such as PG100. Allow the primer to dry and install the field sheet to complete this detail. Remember to use a roller to ensure full adhesion to the surface. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, wall flashing detail installation. When required to run Polyglass self-adhered membranes up a vertical wall, the following procedures are recommended for a majority of circumstances. Your particular detail may differ depending on the design of the building. Polyglass membranes are required to be used in conjunction with cant strips at all roof-to-wall transitions. Adhere or attach the cant strip directly to the roof substrate and against the wall. Install the field base sheet just past the top of the cant strip, approximately 1 inch above the top of the cant strip. Base flashing should be cut to the width of the roll and of sufficient height to extend at least 8 inches above the deck and 4 inches on the deck. Cut the first piece of base flashing to 2/3 the width of the roll in order to stagger the laps between the base flashing and the cap flashing. Create a dog-eared joint by cutting the bottom corner of the lapped flashing to assist in sealing the lap. Position the flashing and roll into place with a hand roller, applying even pressure to the entire flashing. Install the field cap sheet just past the top of the cant strip, approximately 1 inch above the top of the cant strip. Cap flashing should be cut to the width of the roll and of sufficient height to extend at least 8 inches above the deck and 6 inches on the deck. Create a dog-eared cut by joining the bottom corner of the lapped flashing to assist in sealing the lap. Position the flashing and roll into place with a hand roller, applying even pressure to the entire flashing. On the overgranule area of the flashing, the use of a modified adhesive or hot air welder is required to bond the flashing. The design of the building will determine how the wall flashings will terminate. The use of a termination bar is one method to fasten the membrane to the wall. Fasten all wall flashings to the wall at the upper edge of the flashing. Refer to local code requirements for the proper spacing of the fasteners. Seal the top of the terminated wall flashing to prevent water intrusion. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, base sheet flashing inside corner detail installation. When base flashings are required to wrap an inside corner, cut the base flashing to a manageable width, allowing it to be lapped at least 3 inches. Where the top of the cant strip on the inside corner meets the back side of the membrane, use a knife with a hook blade to make the first top relief cut. Make the cut in an upward angle. For the second required relief cut, mark where the bottom inside corner of the cant strip meets the back side of the membrane, and make the bottom relief cut in a similar manner as the first cut. The adjoining piece of base flashing should be set flush into the corner and mitered to lap the preceding flashing piece. Remove the release film and roll the base flashing in place in a similar manner as the first piece. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, cap sheet flashing inside corner detail installation. When cap flashings are required to wrap an inside corner, cut the cap flashing to a manageable width, allowing it to be lapped at least 3 inches. Use the selvage edge end of the sheet and discard the rest. Where the top of the cant strip on the inside corner meets the back side of the membrane, use a knife with a hook blade to make the first relief cut in an upward angle. For the second required relief cut, mark where the bottom inside corner of the cant strip meets the back side of the membrane and make a bottom relief cut in a similar manner as the first cut. Dog-ear the corner by cutting off a small triangle piece of membrane off the bottom lapping end. Remove the release film and using a hand roller, roll the base flashing in place while applying even pressure to the entire surface. Apply heat from a hot air welder to the over-granule area of the flashing. The use of modified roofing cement is also acceptable in this condition. The adjoining piece of cap flashing should be set flush into the corner and mitered to meet the preceding flashing piece. Remove the release film and roll in place in a similar manner as the first piece of cap flashing. Again, the use of heat or adhesive is required on over-granule areas. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, base sheet flashing, outside corner detail installation. When base flashings are required to wrap an outside corner, cut the base flashing to a manageable width, allowing it to be lapped at least 3 inches. Where the top of the cant strip on the corner meets the back side of the membrane, use a knife with a hook blade to make the first relief cut. Make the cut in an upward angle away from the corner. For the second relief cut, mark where the bottom outside corner of the cant strip meets the back side of the membrane, and make the bottom relief cut in a similar manner as the first cut. Now remove the release film and, using a hand roller, roll the base flashing in place by applying even pressure to the entire surface. The adjoining piece of base flashing should be set flush into the corner and mitered to meet the preceding flashing piece. Remove the release film and roll in place in a similar manner as the first base flashing. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, cap sheet flashing, outside corner installation. When cap flashings are required to wrap an outside corner, cut the cap flashing to a manageable width, allowing it to be lapped at least 3 inches. Use the selvage edge end of the sheet and discard the rest. Where the top of the cant strip on the outside corner meets the back side of the membrane, use a knife with a hook blade to make the first relief cut. Make the cut in an upward angle and round out the edges. For the second required relief cut, mark where the bottom corner of the cant strip meets the back side of the membrane and make the bottom relief cut in a similar manner as the first cut. Remove the release film and, using a hand roller, roll the cap flashing in place while applying even pressure to the entire surface. Apply heat from a hot air welder to the over-granule area of the flashing. The use of modified roofing cement is also acceptable in this condition. The adjoining piece of cap flashing should be set flush into the corner and mitered to meet the preceding flashing piece on the corner edge. Remove the release film and roll in place in a similar manner as the first piece of cap flashing. Again, the use of heat or adhesive is required on over-granule areas. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, pitch pocket detail installation. When sealing around a roof penetration using a pitch pan, the use of Polyglass Polyflash 1C 1-part flashing compound makes the process simple and watertight. Extend the field membrane to the base of the pitch pan flashing and seal as normal. Clean and, if required, prime the penetration where the Polyflash 1C and the penetration come in contact. Wrap tape around the outside of the pan, extending 1/4 of an inch above the pan. This allows you to fill to the top of the pan and allows the Polyflash 1C to settle and seal completely. Remove the tape when the Polyflash 1C dries. Fill the base of the pan with a non-shrinking grout, stopping at least 1 inch from the top. Allow the grout to dry and pour the Polyflash 1C into the pan, allowing it to self-level. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof, standard APP modified bitumen membrane field installation. Prior to starting, relax the roofing membrane by laying it down on a flat surface and unrolling it. Relaxing the rolls for several minutes releases some of the material memory of the polyester reinforcement that develops from the production process. This will allow the membrane to stretch and lay smoother, making for a superior installation. Re-roll the membrane and bring it to the location on the roof where it will be installed. Line up the edge of the roll with your lowest starting point. Your starting point will vary depending on the design of the building. Roll out the whole length of the roll, ensuring that the edge of the sheet maintains a straight course. Adjust its alignment as needed. From one end of the sheet, re-roll the membrane about quarter of the length of the roll, and from the other end, re-roll it the rest of the length until both re-rolled ends meet. Using the roofing torch, in an even side-to-side sweeping motion, heat up and weld the quarter-rolled side for several feet. This will help lock in the alignment of the roll, helping to avoid the roll from walking on you and maintaining a straight course. Pull the rolled up membrane towards you using a shepherd's hook. Never torch the membrane while standing behind the roll and kicking the roll forward. Once several feet of membrane are welded to the deck, you may start welding the longer section of the roll. To prevent any voids in the membrane adhesion, be sure to push the rolled side of the membrane towards the just recently welded short side of the course until it no longer moves. You will see the asphalt peeling up slightly, indicating that the welded portion of the membrane has been reached. Using the shepherd's hook to pull the roll forward and the torch in a sweeping side-to-side motion, heat up the back side of the membrane until the polyolefin bottom surface markings indicate that the membrane is ready to be welded down. Avoid overheating the membrane and be sure to use a steady, even pace. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof standard APP selvage edge installation. When heat welding, special attention to the selvage edge of the membrane is required to ensure a proper seal. An even, consistent asphalt bleed out of around 1/4 inch is what you want to achieve. As soon as possible, coat the bleed out with high-quality, color-matching Polyglass granules. They are available to match every color Polyglass membranes are made in. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof standard APP modified bitumen membrane end lap. All end lap conditions require a minimum 6-inch lap. Mark the end of the lap on the bottom sheet. Using the torch and a trowel, heat up and embed the granules at the bottom sheet to create a smooth surface. Embedded granules provide a better bond to the overlapping membrane. Heat weld the bottom surface of the overlapping sheet and press the membrane down lightly with the trowel to achieve a consistent bleed out and coat it with granules. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative. Low slope roof drain flashing detail installation. When required to run Polyglass membranes to roof drain bowls, the following flashing procedures are recommended for a majority of circumstances. Your particular detail may differ depending on the design of the building. Install insulation as required, ensuring the insulation is sloped to the drain. It is important to strategically set membrane field plies to avoid a seam running through the drain on the cap ply. Next, install Polyglass field base ply per guidelines, extending a minimum of 2 inches into the drain bowl as shown. Center over the drain and embed a 30-inch square, minimum 4 pounds lead or 16-ounce copper flashing onto approved flashing cement, such as PG500 or PP50. Extend the soft metal flashing into the drain bowl, a minimum of 2 inches. Using the appropriate mallet, shape the flashing to form and extend the metal into the drain bowl. Prime the entire metal flashing with an approved primer, such as PG100, and allow it to dry. Prepare a piece of base ply to strip in the 30-inch by 30-inch soft metal flashing to extend beyond the leading edge of the metal on all sides by a minimum of 4 inches. Set the base ply in place and remove the release film, and using a hand roller, roll the base flashing in place while applying even pressure to the entire surface. This pressure will activate the self-adhesive compound, creating a bond with the substrate. Mark the center of the drain and cut a hole in the base ply, ensuring enough membrane remains beyond the inside edge of the drain bowl for proper installation of the clamping ring. Install the self-adhered field cap ply per guidelines over the drain. Cut a hole for the water to drain properly, ensuring enough membrane remains beyond the inside edge of the drain bowl for proper installation of the clamping ring. Align and mark the location of the drain bolt receiver openings. Poke a hole through the flashing and membranes for the drain's hardware bolts to easily be driven into the receiving bowl's bolt openings. Ensure that the bolts are long enough to create compression on the membrane and clamping ring. Depending on the number of plies in the roof system, the bolts may not be long enough to properly tighten the clamping ring to the bowl. Be careful of over-tightening the bolts. Install clamping ring and ensure all plies are under the clamping ring. Next, tighten the bolts and complete this detail by installing the strainer. For more information, contact your Polyglass Technical Services representative.